Welcome, replay viewers. You are in for an absolute treat today on Ask Avi's Tech Talk Tip of the Day. We are in a record store that has millions of vinyl 45s like you could never imagine. 45s are taking a comeback, and these have been in existence for years and years. And I'm going to introduce you to the owner of the store. We're in a location called Val Shively's Record Shop in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. I'm going to flip this around and see us over here. This is Val Shively. Val?
Hey! Hi, everybody.
Val, you are an unbelievable guy. You've had such history in the record business, and you have more stories to tell than anyone I've ever known in this industry. Give us one of your gems, please.
I'm going to bring in my friend Eddie B. from Boston, who I've known for probably 30, 40 years, who just happened to walk in while you were setting everything up. I want Eddie to tell a story that he loves here. Rather than me tell it, Eddie could tell it really good. Watch this.
That's fabulous. Where's Eddie?
Eddie B, please.
Eddie B's coming up.
Step into the spotlight, my friend.
Eddie B came down. Now, we're in Upper Darby. People from all over the world come to this record shop, and they can get records here that you cannot get anywhere else in the world. There are collector's items in here, things that any label that you can imagine from way back. How far back do you go, Val?
Actually, we go by way back, but we're known for 45s. 45s started in 1950, but they took music from before that and put it on 45s. So we could go back to the 20s, 30s, 40s, but we really specialize in 50s, 60s, and 70s. You know, and then we got more. I guess the vinyl stopped around 90, right, Chuck?
It goes into the 90s.
Get over here. I want you.
You're
Get
see
over here.
history
Here comes Chuck. Chuck's been with me for 38 years, and I don't even know why I've kept him this long. But maybe you'll figure it out, because here he is, the brains of the place, Mr. Chuck.
Chuck has every one of these records cataloged.
Get in here.
Not on a computer, but in his head.
Yeah.
And it's just unbelievable. Chuck, tell us how you manage all of these records, because in a minute I'm going to take you guys for a tour of all the records and how many possible records you can imagine in here. It's just unbelievable. But Chuck, tell us about how you are able to manage all these records. How many different labels do you have in here?
Thousands
of labels.
Yeah.
And then you categorize, Val was telling me, by label.
Right.
Is that the way you have
It's
it?
broken down by label, then the labels are broken down by artist, and then if somebody made a lot of records like Elvis or the Beatles, it's broken down by song title.
That's unbelievable. So if someone were to give you a song that they were looking for, they would first tell you what label it was on, or would you know based on...
Most times, sometimes people would just want reissues. They don't care what label it's on, so then it would be...
No, they don't have to know the label. That's where we come in. We know the label.
Generally, unless it's something really oddball. If they're asking for something odd, like... These guys in here just were they have to know the label, or we're not going to know.
Talking about you.
But we have books too, so.
Now you have 3 different levels in this store,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you estimate you have how many millions of records in here?
It's over 4 million 45s.
Over
easy.
4 million 45s.
Easy.
Can you imagine? Now you guys look at the Apple store and you have all your digitized records. People today, the Yardbirds, here's somebody that's looking for the Yardbirds.
Really?
Yeah. You have Yardbirds, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. They have it.
You
can't stump these guys. I don't care what record you're looking for, they
It's
have
here.
it, and they don't just have it, they probably have multiple copies of
Right,
it.
and if we don't have it, we'll make it. Oh, I'm sorry, that's illegal. All right, here comes. Remember you asked for a story?
Yeah, tell us a story.
I'm going to give you Eddie B, who tells great stories.
Eddie B.
Mr. Eddie B.
Come on
Come
around,
over here.
Eddie B.
You got to be over here.
I want you to get in the view with everybody.
Eddie, next time you come, wear a tie.
Okay, buddy. There's a lot of stories about this guy, believe me. But this is like my favorite or my second favorite. So one time I'm staying with Val for a whole week, and he says, listen, actually, wrong story. Let me start over again. I'm sitting in the corner, it's a Friday, up at the old shop, and the phone rings, and Val doesn't usually answer the phone. But today he picks it up. R&B Records, he says, the guy says, Val Shively, I come, I find you. He says, no, I don't want you here, hangs up the phone, don't come here. Hangs up the phone. The phone rings about 15 minutes later. Same guy, and you could tell, just by the way he's talking, he's Japanese. He says, Val, I find you, I come, I buy many, many records, I want many records, I come, no. He says, don't come here. He says, don't come, I'm telling him I'm not going to let you in. So about a half an hour later, there's a knock on the door. And Val says, who the hell is this? And the guy outside says, Val Shively, I tell you, I come, I find you. So Val opens the door. That Japanese fellow standing outside. He's got 2 cameras around his neck, and Val says, come in here. And he makes him stand in one spot near the door, and he closes the door. He says, you got a list? He says, I have a list. I buy many, many records. So Val says, let me see the list. And Val says, all right, I got almost all this shit on here. I said, I got almost everything on here. So he starts, he goes like this here. He says, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 8, this is 10, this is 10, this is 4. The Japanese guy stops him and goes, no, no, no. I pay $3 for a record. I buy many records. Val goes like this. He opens the door. He says, I can't see the list too good. He says, come out here in the sun. He opens up the door. He makes the Japanese guy hold the list up so he could see it better. Val says, I told you not to come here now, screw. Closes the door. He went the guy banging at the door for a half hour. He wouldn't let him in.
There's how I do business.
That's how Val does business. Now, Val, come in here.
Hold on, here I
Let
come.
him in.
Val.
Please.
I haven't had a customer since.
That's a
Listen.
secret. That's a secret
Guess
customer
what? Now,
relation.
That's Eddie's
right?
story. By the way, I'll tell it right next week. Anyway, now we're going to bring in Dennis. There's a guy here who's going to be the next superstar. Remember Michael Jackson? Remember Elvis Presley? Remember Elton John? Give me some more guys that made it big. Led Zeppelin. Here you go. Here he is, Mr. Zeppelin. I want you to listen to this. You're going to love it.
We're going to
Here
do
he
some
is.
acapella. Let's
Here we
do
go.
some entertainment now.
Watch this. World, get ready. Mr. Dennis. Tell him who you are.
My name's Dennis Taylor from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm actually working in Philly right now with legendary songwriter producer Bobby Eli.
Oh, yeah.
From MFSB. Wrote Love Won't Let Me Wait for Major Harris. Sideshow for Blue Magic. Just Don't Want to Be Lonely, main ingredient. And so I'm working on that. We put the first single out right now. It's on iTunes called Been There, Done That by Dennis Taylor. And so we can do a little of that, I guess.
Beautiful.
A little of that.
We're
Invite
ready.
your followers.
Everybody
in.
pay attention.
They're gonna love this.
Yeah.
If you're on an Android, swipe up. Swipe right on an iOS device. Invite your people in because they're gonna want to hear this. Here we go.
Wait a minute, 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Dennis Youngblood Taylor, the man. Watch out. Hit it.
You don't got to say a hurt. I've been hurt too. You ain't got to speak a word, 'cause I done heard you. Ooh, I've been there, done that. We can oversee love's comeback. Said everybody needs a home to come home to. And I know you've been alone, and I'm alone too. Ooh, I've been there, done that. We can oversee love's comeback.
Nice.
That's fabulous.
Come on,
Fabulous.
everybody.
Thank you.
How about that? Let's get some hearts for this man. He's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Just tap on your screen for
Very
that.
nice. Very nice. I'll buy one.
That is absolutely beautiful. So
Yeah.
let's take a look, Val, at some of the collections that you have in here because this is just unbelievable. You're looking on just at one side of a wall that is stacked with thousands and thousands of records. But I think you need to see this. We're gonna take a little walk around. Tell somebody what inspired you, Val, to start this business?
This was a hobby that turned into a business. It was never supposed to be. I was going to be an accountant like somebody else in this camera. Anyway, and this is where I since 1957 I got really heavy duty into music and just used to turn my friends on to it and everything. And it was just I collect records and I wanted to have the best collection of what I loved, which was basically vocal group harmony from the early 50s to the mid 60s, and vocal group harmony, mostly black, and that was what my thing was. And I didn't have any money; it came from nothing, so I needed to get money to buy these records. So I started to buy records cheap and sell them to my friends and turn people onto it. And I got a job working at a One Stop. It's a record distributor in Philadelphia in 1964, and I ran his business for him, but he let me do my own thing after hours. In other words, if I worked 6 days a week, 8 hours a day for him, if I was still awake, I could do what I wanted. So I started putting out lists in 1966. In January '66, I put my first list out, and it grew and grew and grew. And in '72, I left him. Actually, we had a fallout over who cared more about his business, me or him. And I did, but he owned it. And he said, "Why don't you just go and do your own thing?" And I couldn't believe he could say that to me after I worked so hard for him. So I ended up leaving, and I tried to do this out of my house, and that didn't work because I had all these lunatics coming to my house. And then I opened a store in November of '72. And so I've been here.
You've
I was
been
up
here
the
since
street.
72?
No. I was up the street for. I was up the street till 1990, and it was a real tiny little store. But I had a duplex apartment in Broomall, and so I used to use that as a warehouse. And I used to live there. Then I moved in with my girlfriend, who's now my wife, by the way, and so I used that as my warehouse. And then in 1990, I decided this is not working. I had to go to Broomall all the time to get records for people, so I ended up buying this place, which it's 3 floors in here, and it's a lot of room. And I turned this into what it used to look like, the old place. You can't move in here. So it was a license to buy when I came here. So, and I've been here since 1990, and this is now 2015, I think. And, so I've been doing this. Next January, it'll be 50 years since I started doing this. 50 years.
Wow.
And believe me, I feel it.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine moving this place from one place to another at
Really?
this point.
That's
right?
why I brought you in here today. I was hoping that maybe you would.
We're cataloging it today
Yes.
on video so people can appreciate the expansiveness, the inventory that you actually have here. It's just unbelievable. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little tour around, and you're going to be able to see millions of records. There's over 4 million records in this location. And I don't know if you guys know of a record store that has that many records in it, especially today when everybody's on digital download. There's nothing like, if you ask your parents, if you ask friends that are audiophiles, there's nothing like the quality of vinyl. And it's having a comeback. But a lot of these tunes you won't hear on any type of digital media. They're only available on vinyl. So let's take a little look. Let's take a quick look. I'm going to take you off of here. First thing I'm going to do is flip the camera around. And let me... there we go. So this is just the wall on the opposing side of where we were. I'm going to take this off of here. And I just want to give you a look because it goes all the way up to the ceiling. Okay? And it just keeps going. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to just take a look around. As we move the camera around, you're looking across the store, and here's some of the memorabilia, some of the pictures that he's got up in here. And then we're going to move around. There's Val.
That's me with glasses, because I'm about to take you on a trip.
Here's the wall that you were looking at when we first started interviewing, and you'll see all of the records go up. And then he's got boxes up here. And then we're just going to take a little quick look down the way. And as I move around and pan around, I just want to show you that the rows just keep going side and side. He's got several rows all the way through. We're just going to take a walk.
Make a right.
We're going to walk through here. And again, this is just a whole stack that you can't imagine. And then he's got a little turn we're going to make here. And we're going to go back in here. And we're going to look further. And again, the records just keep going. Has anyone ever in their lives, look, all the way up, and it keeps going and going and going. This is just one side. It's got a ladder. I don't think that ladder's even tall enough to be able to reach where it needs to go. He needs a fire truck in here to be able to get to the top.
Fire no.
I'm sorry about that. That's a big 4-letter word we shouldn't be using. But we're going to look around here. This is just unbelievable. Again, every record you can imagine. Now we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around, and we're going to look down. There's Val again.
Hello.
He's joining us from behind. And now, look, we're just walking through here. Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, having this type of inventory of record? And forget the number of records. just the ability to find these. And let's look at some of the titles, because you'll probably recognize some of these. Okay? Paul Chandler. I mean,
Anybody remembers him?
Anybody-
It's only Paul Chandler. Remember that.
Barbara Green. You know, these are here's Count Basie. Now, Count Basie's a name that people have heard of, right? You've heard of him, okay? Stan Kenton, Chicago. Wow, okay, one of my favorites. I mean, you got it. It's going on here, you see. And you know, I could go on for days with the records that are in here. It's just unbelievable, and it just keeps going up and up and up. So, I just got to tell you, this is quite an impressive collection of records. We're broadcasting live from Val Shively's record shop in Upper Darby, PA. Val is a good friend of Joan's. Joan, my partner for many, many years, and they actually have gone to school together. And we're just making a little reunion stop today, coming back and saying hi. But how about this place? Did you ever see anything like it? It's just unbelievable. And we're gonna spend some more time with Val today. But there's a group of people here, and Val, we're
Come
gonna.
over here a minute. Chuck's going to give you our website.
Oh, good,
You
Chuck.
ready?
Yeah, come
Chuck,
on
what
back.
is it? Or tell me what it is. I don't know
If
nothing.
you guys want to,
Val
you can.
Shively, ValShively.com.
Okay, I'll do it
Okay.
again. ValShively.com.
ValShively.com. You can order any record that you've ever thought about. Val can deliver it to you wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
So, Val, thank you
Ship
so
all
much.
over the world.
All over the world.
Do
Fantastic.
you want to go down the aisles, or do you want to go upstairs?
Well,
or
you
do
know
want
what?
to just leave it at this?
I think we're going to leave it at this for
Okay.
now, and we'll
All right.
probably follow up in a little bit. So,
All right.
thank you so
Listen,
much.
What a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure.
All right. How about the phone number? You ready?
Yeah.
610-352-2320. All right. We got 30 people coming here. The website. Here she comes, Joni. Website. I did it already. You want
did
it
it.
again?
www.
www. I don't even know what that means.
Eddie.
Shively.com.
Shively.com.
Here goes Eddie. How about Eddie on the way out?
Eddie, one more
Shot.
story
Yeah,
for us.
shot.
One more story for
What
us.
do you got, Eddie? The 2-cent guy.
Yeah, Dave.
Keep it clean, Eddie.
Okay,
we
yeah,
got
right.
a mixed
Yeah.
G
I don't know if
audience
he
here.
can.
All right, here we go.
Okay, great.
Here we go.
All right.
Here's Eddie. Eddie's from Boston. He's a regular down here. He
Not
hasn't
really, thank God.
he hasn't been here for years, but he's
Thank
been
God.
he's known Val for years, and he's got some great stories to tell you.
Okay,
So
another
let's take a
story.
look. One
Me
more
too.
story.
Best part is they're all true.
You're up.
Okay.
Go ahead. You're live,
So
man.
I'm staying with Mr. Shively. One of the times he graciously let me stay with him for a whole week.
Still owe me.
So one day, whatever you want, buddy. So one day he says to me, listen, I'm going to get a bunch of records tomorrow. I think I'm going to pick about 50,000 records. Would you like to go with me? I said, sure. So he rents a truck. And we're off. And we go to wherever we have to go. And we get there, and it's kind of like a gas station or a place where they fix cars or something. And as you walk in, Val, you could see all the records in back. And he goes, well, at least there's all the records. They're all boxed up. So we walk in. He starts talking to the guy, and names aren't really important, but we'll say he's talking to Tony. But the guy he's supposed to talk to is Joe. That's his son. So Val says, can I speak to Joe? He says, well, Joe's not here. He goes, geez, I really want to talk to him. That's who I'm supposed to talk to. And the guy says, are you here for the records? And Val goes, yeah. He says, but I kind of set this deal up with Joe. He's the guy I want to talk to. And Tony says, well, I'm his father. I'm the boss. I own all the records. I own everything here. He says, are you interested in buying the records? And Val goes, yeah, as long as they're not broken and cracked, I'll buy everything. So the guy says, well, do you have any idea what you might want to pay for the records each? And Val goes, yeah, I'll buy them for a penny each, but I'll take them all. And the guy starts ranting and raving. He goes, what are you talking about? Nobody pays a penny for records. You can't buy a record anywhere for a penny. In the meantime, I had to leave because I was laughing too hard. So, anyways, I wait outside for Val to get done. I go back in. He looks at him real serious, and the guy says, "You're nuts. You can't pay a penny for a record." He goes, straightest face in the world, "I have been known to pay 2 cents." And that's the truth. I think he got him for a nickel each, but anyways.
Eddie, good story.
Yeah, it's like that one and the other was my 2 favorites.
How about Linda? Before
Excellent. That was one phenomenal story. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna take one more span around here. I just want you guys to see this.
How about Dennis?
Then we're going to be tuning out. We're going to be tuning out.
All right.
All right. You guys have a wonderful day, and join me again tomorrow for another Tech Talk tip. You can join me at askavie.com for the replay, and if you tuned in late, you missed a whole lot. Come on back. See you then. Bye-bye.